Hello and welcome to another edition of What's Next with Coach Joe McGuire. I'm Robert Giovanetti. Coach, what is next as we look at coming off the bye week? Did you get a little rest in all that time? I mean, again, it's not truly a bye week for you guys. You're working. There's just not a game.
Yeah, I did get some rest, though. I did get in really late Friday night from recruiting, and then slept in a little bit as much as I could. And then I literally watched
there's a lot.
Football. There was some great games on. And then some teams that we're going to play that I was able to get an early look at.
Hey, I loved this on Friday night. There were some great games on Friday night to watch as well. And you're thinking there's not a lot going up against it. What do you think about it? Former high school coach, do you like colleges playing on Friday nights?
I always want to play. If we're on a Friday night, I would love to be on the road. You know, I think it's really tough being a Texas team. Not discounting anybody else's high school Friday nights, but it's just different, you know. And so I think that would put a strain on our guys, meaning getting people here because most of them are watching. Their hometown and everything. I mean, it's different. Texas high school football is different.
And it hurts both sides, right? The high schools don't want their fans coming to one of our games.
Right.
It is a national spotlight. A couple good games on Friday night, too, including with our upcoming opponent, the Houston Cougars. Yeah,
so Houston and Oregon State, that was a great game. Showed a lot about Houston and what kind of team they are. I mean, I always think it's a really good, tight team, well-coached team where you can come back. They were down 24-10, and came back, and then got to follow. I followed that game because I was on a plane, and then also followed the TCU Arizona State game, and that's a future opponent. And man, Arizona State's just finding ways.
Yeah.
They're in tight games and they're winning one-score games week in and week out.
You know, I was thinking of the Houston-Oregon State game. One of our former coaches here, Ruffin McNeil, used to say, hey, they got coaches and kids on scholarship too on the other side. They're trying hard. They want to win. And Oregon State's had so many kind of bad breaks go their way that you were thinking maybe Friday night they was going to go their way a little bit.
Yeah, just special teams is you know, they should be 2-2. They should are 2-3 now. No, 2-2. Just from the standpoint of they had Fresno State beat, special teams got them. They had Houston, and special teams got them again. Now, Houston made plays. I mean, they're the ones that blocked the kick, but, I mean, a lot of times in college football, block kicks that come off the edge are op time. You know, it's a snap and the hold and the kicker. It's hard to block a kick off the edge in college football when you have good snappers and holders.
Yeah, you always preach, and thank goodness we got KP here.
Yeah.
Right? We've got good special teams, and the ball's shaped funny, and funny things can happen.
No doubt. And special teams going to be a big part of this game. This Saturday. I mean, they've got a good returner. Number 4, he returns punts and kicks. He's really good. You know, what kind of opportunities does he have against us? We're hoping. You know, we're kicking the ball out of the back of the end zone a lot. And there's touchbacks, and then, you know, nobody wants to see Jack. We love him, but we just want to see him hold.
See him. It's great when we see him going out there for the extra.
No doubt,
right? That's the time he needs to be seen and get on the field. Houston is a great opportunity for Tech fans, right?
Yeah.
It's such a huge Tech area with, I mean, maybe our greatest number of students come from Houston. So we have a great opportunity to see some red and black in the stands on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, Houston is such a big part of Texas Tech, and we have so many alumni that live there in the Houston and surrounding areas, and then we do have a ton of Houston students. And I mean, we have increased recruiting wise. We've increased our presence. You know, our team. A lot of them are younger guys, but we have a lot of guys that are from Houston and the surrounding areas. You know, that are excited to go back home and play in front of that crowd, because there's going to be a lot of Texas Tech fans.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge contingent. You mentioned at the game a couple years ago when you were walking through and it felt like a Raider walk. There were so many Tech fans there.
Yeah. Whenever we played Ole Miss, that Texas Bowl, it felt like that. And I expect there's going to be when we get off the bus, there's going to be a large number of Tech fans waiting for us.
Yeah, I was kind of like you when we got off the bus there. it seemed like being in Jones Stadium. There were so many Tech people outside that stadium.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
Could provide a great atmosphere. Hopefully our Tech fans are able to get tickets and come out there and be a part of that. How big is this for you guys? You have shown a propensity. You guys have been pretty good on the road in Big 12.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, for a lot of reasons. Number one, it gets us to 2-0 in the Big 12. Gets us to 5-0. We win this game. We're beating an undefeated Houston team, which only helps whenever you're trying to move up and position yourself in the conversations of the playoffs and everything. So this is a huge game, and it's a huge game for a lot of reasons. Also, recruiting. I mean, there's going to be guys that are going to be in the stands. High school kids that, are deciding where do I need to go to school and everything. And so this gives us an opportunity also to play in front of that crowd.
Hey, it's so hard in 2025 to avoid the noise, right?
Yeah.
All your guys have phones and smart objects, and there's been so much talk about Texas Tech. Is this something you guys have always done a good job of preaching 1-0, let's win this game, but is it harder on a bye week when there's been so much talk about the Red Raiders over the last couple of days?
Yeah, the biggest thing is that we keep our edge, find ways. I mean, we talked about it. Every meeting we had, we talked about handling success, and so that's going to be the challenge that, I'm going to put in front of the guys on a Friday night and Saturday before we take the field is the way you play. It shows your maturity and how much you can handle success, because if we keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, the noise just gets louder and louder, and you got to be able to block it out and focus on what's in front of you.
I mean, let's look at you, for example. Last week, how many shows did you do?
Oh, I mean, whatever Dowdy says, seemed like
it was more than 10.
Yeah, right? Seems like 8 to 10, and everybody wants to talk about Texas Tech, and which is awesome. I mean, I've watched all the games of Houston, and now I'm watching the TV copies of Houston. So I'm watching the Oregon State, literally before we came down here. And, Andre Ware's saying, Oregon State got beat by Texas Tech and Oregon. Those are two teams that are in the conversation for the college football playoffs. Yeah. That's awesome to hear that's being said on ESPN on a Friday night.
So tell me, for you, what do you get out of watching the TV broadcast versus the other film?
Yeah, one, I like to hear the commentators because they're going to give you some stuff that the coaches gave them in the meetings before the game. So I like hearing them, what they're going to say. A big part of what I watch on that is body language. You're going to get a lot of sideline body language, how they're going to respond to adversity, stuff like that. So I'll watch a lot of that.
And you see stuff like that in our games that you've talked about that you don't see because of where you are, like on the sideline, you're watching the game.
Yeah.
You don't see some of the stuff happening behind you that you might not get unless you're watching the TV broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, I always watch our TV copy also, just from the standpoint of how we're responding. And, that's such a big part of, it says so much that when Will Hammond came out, that him and Sheridan Wilson were patting, really violently kind of patting each other let's go.
Right.
I wouldn't have seen that if I hadn't watched the TV copy, because that's not on our game copy, and I don't know what I was paying attention to at that point whenever he came out there, but I wasn't paying attention to that. Yeah. So I wouldn't have seen that. I want to see that. And then I also want to get ahead of things if we do have bad body language, if I see that, I want to address it on Sunday or Tuesday to make sure that we're, it's such a big part of the energy on the sideline.
How do you prioritize what you watch from other games? Obviously, common opponents is be the biggest thing, right?
Yeah, common opponents, but, all Big 12 opponents, if you're playing a Big 12 team, I'm watching that. It's really as the season goes, because right now they're 4-0, so I've watched every one of their games. Yeah. But whenever it starts getting deeper into the season, I'm going to watch common opponents. I'm going to watch all the Big 12, so.
Do you slip a little Penn State, Oregon, Alabama, Georgia in your viewing on Saturday?
Oh, I watched, I had it, on both TVs, but then I also had it to where I could flip on the main TV that I was watching back and forth during commercials. Great atmosphere. All four of those teams are really, really good football teams.
Yeah, but my very uneducated view as I watch those too, I'm thinking Texas Tech belongs right in there with that group.
Yeah, it's we say it and we're going to keep saying it. If we keep growing and we're the best version of ourselves, and I feel good about whoever we're playing. Captain Obvious, we have got to cut the pre-snap penalties out, because when you get into, we got lucky in Utah that didn't come back and bite us, but when you get in those games like you saw Penn State, Oregon, and you saw Alabama and Georgia, those one-score games, those penalties kill you.
One of the things I was thinking Saturday watching Utah play West Virginia, I thought it made me even more impressed with our defensive effort, because they couldn't get anything going against the Red Raiders, but they were able to move the ball against West Virginia, and you can see some of their skilled guys and what they're able to do.
Yeah, they're a good football team. I would love to play them again, because that means we're in the Big 12 championship. I don't know if I want to play them again, but I would love to play them again, because that means that's where we're at. So whoever and whatever, how to get there, that's what we need to do.
I want to go back to your week last week and all the media. You're kind of a media darling, but your time with Matt Rule, that was kind of an interesting watch, and just seeing you guys' relationship. How has that evolved over the years?
Yeah, that was cool. He started a podcast, and he's done a great job. I've seen some of them, and Coach is such a great speaker and conversation and everything like that. He's really, really good. And we were in Orlando at a leadership conference, leadership summit, and he had that set up. And so out of the kindness of his heart, he released it after we beat Utah. He actually was planning, it was a planned deal of, hey, let me release this whenever they had a game like that. So that was really cool too.
Yeah, that's fun.
And
it was interesting to watch y'all's relationship. You could kind of tell the kind of relationship you guys have.
Yeah, I learned so much from him, but he and I, we hit it off from the get-go, and the thing, I think he respected it. I at a different level, but I sit in the chair so he could have conversations with me as a head coach to head coach. But then I also, I told him, I'll never forget this. He said, "How are you going to handle being an assistant again?" And I said, "Well, Coach, I have a boss, an AD, I have a superintendent, and I have a wife, and so trust me, I know how to take orders." I think he appreciated that, because I really do believe assistants, they voice their opinion. They're not yes men, but there's such a respect level of, hey, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it. I don't question it whenever it gets to that point. And I think he respected that. I think there's still some people that, maybe away from that, have their own personal opinions. I don't. Whenever they say this is where we're going, if Kirby Hocutt says this is what we're doing,
right,
but God, this is what we're doing.
Sure.
Because he's the guy that runs the show, and that's how I've always been. I think that's important.
And we have a good boss in Kirby in that too, that he doesn't want people just tell him what he wants to hear.
Right.
But eventually he makes a decision, and all of us have to go, okay, we're going to go with that decision, right?
Yeah.
We'll go out now and carry out the orders of the boss.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important that everybody learn that, no matter what age you are. Once that decision is made, then the conversation doesn't leave that room. We always say silent is consent, meaning that if you don't speak up in the moment of the meetings, then you're okay with it. Right. Well, if you're okay with it, don't a day later come back and say, that was the opportunity. Now it's too late. We got to go.
Yeah. And again, good leaders like to hear dissenting voices. Right?
No doubt.
It makes you better.
I want to hear what, people agree, disagree. I've got a guy on my staff that disagrees with me, two of them. Kenny Perry and Garrett McGuire. They're the two that like to.
I was thinking KP immediately, but I didn't know.
Well, trust me, Garrett McGuire,
he's got a history of that, right?
He does.
He's probably got a stamp.
He's told me for a long time what I've done wrong and how I need to fix it.
Yeah, I think you're watching The Brand last week, and if you're not watching The Brand, you need to catch up. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Or The Ride, which it showcases our wins. But we saw a little side of Shield Wood too, right? That this guy is
he's
intense.
Got an edge, man. I mean, I cannot thank him enough and want more from him from the standpoint of just his organization, his accountability from the staff, and the players. The players have bought totally in, especially the linebackers, man. They really, really appreciate their position coach from the standpoint of he gives them a lot of info and freedom to play with that info to where they can play really fast.
That's why, again, going back to our topic last week, the whole bought, not built storyline is such BS. Because, again, you can have these great guys, but if they're not buying into what the coach is talking about and the leadership and the culture, you're not going to get the results we're getting right now.
No, you're not, especially whenever you get in, like the Utah game is a perfect example. You self-implode whenever you're in tight games if you're not a close group.
Yeah.
And
instead wore them down instead of the opposite, right? And so I think that's going to happen hopefully a lot this year. You feel pretty good health-wise? Everybody you had the off week?
Yeah, it was, Barron feels great. We got Cash Cleveland back totally. We got Ellis Davis back totally. Trying to think of anybody else. TC was a little banged up. He feels a lot better. Nothing that he wouldn't play with if we had to play last week, but it was good. I'm trying to think of anybody else. We're getting closer and closer to getting Holton Hendricks back, another offensive lineman, and that you can't value that enough of your O-line, D-line depth.
I don't think opposing coaches want to hear, hey, we're getting deeper this time of year, right? But because this lineup seems pretty deep right now. And just getting guys back just can only help.
Yeah, two other guys didn't play against Utah that should play this week is Amir Washington and Duda Banks, which gives you two more defensive linemen. And
we've seen Amir come up big.
Yeah. And both of them, have played a lot of football, and it's good to have those guys back.
So looking forward to Saturday against the Cougars. Come on out if you're in the Houston area, or come on down from Lubbock. I think seats still available. We're selling out like crazy here at Jones AT&T Stadium.
I can't think of it. First, this is not said enough, but can't thank our ticket office and that crew enough. Man, they work their tails off. They're such a great group of people, and we ask a lot of them, and I'm hoping that we're helping them do their job and making it easier. But I can't thank them enough, and I can't thank the fans enough to, they're buying the tickets, and we got one more. Let's just go ahead and sell out UCF. That's going to be senior night. That's going to be a huge, huge game. They're playing well. They're 3-1 right now, and Frost has got them playing well. So let's get all of them sold out.
Ticket office led by Brent Fletcher, doing a great job. Going Band will be in Houston.
Oh, God, man, I was literally going to ask you that after this podcast.
Going Band will be down there, yeah.
Bro, let's just get those tubas warmed up, baby.
I'm trying to think. They're performing after the game at a high school down there. He told me what it was. I can't remember what it was. On Friday night. And then Saturday they'll be at the game. So I knew you'd be happy about that.
That fires me up.
The Going Band being there. So it should be a great experience. And hey, keep the comments coming. We see some comments. I mean to write them down and ask Coach some of the things you're talking about in the comments. But we're glad people are watching, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
We're just not doing this just for our health.
No,
we enjoy it.
I love hanging out with you, Gio, but I also love talking about Texas Tech, and we got a good thing going right now.
All right, for Joe McGuire and Robert Giovanetti, wreck 'em.